Okay, so I'd like to introduce Fran Middleary. Fran is a life member of IBO, and she's also a WCBOO member and consultant. And Fran had told me she was getting a little rusty on the rules, and she wanted to take the WCBOO U course, and she loved it. So she really wanted to present some of the information to you. So if you have your rules book with you, break that out. So Fran is going to give us a sneak peek. These are the slides that come straight from WCBOO U. So if you know anybody that needs to learn the women's rules, don't be shy. Tell them that this is a great class. And Fran and Sherry, I'm going to turn it over to you and enjoy the presentation, everybody.
Right. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm so glad that you're on this call, and I hope that you find this very worthwhile. Sherry, if you can hit the first slide, I'd appreciate that.
I'm working on it. It should be going. I don't know why it's not starting. Okay, hold on a second. You saw that though, right? You saw
the back to basics.
Okay, hold on. Let's share this one. Okay, start slideshow from the beginning. Okay, here we go. Go ahead, Fran.
Okay. Well, we all know to become a great official requires constant repetition of some good habits. So during the course of this presentation, I hope to give you some ideas of what those good habits are. And of course, a good official, a great official, has thorough knowledge of the rules. And when players are running up and down the court, little attention is paid to us. However, when the players are not running up and down the court, that's when the focus shifts to the officials. Now, there are three ways that a dead ball becomes live, and it's through the officials' administration of the jump ball, the throw-in, and the free throw. So this presentation is going to center around the rules that govern what can and cannot be done during the jump ball, the throw-in, and the free throw. WCBOO hopes that this back to basics rules review will kickstart your season and assist you with dead ball efficiency. So before we get into the jump ball, starting the game right, here's a couple of good habits. A pregame warm-ups checklist that all officials should follow when they take to the court prior to the game. They should observe players for illegal uniforms, jewelry, long fingernails, and any other safety concerns, knee braces, casts, etc. Are the teams warming up at the correct baskets? That should almost be the first thing you see when you walk on the court. Make sure that they are. And is the court legal? Is the baskets at the correct height? Should be 10 feet from the ground. Good shooters will know. Are there visible shot clocks? And the rule is that the AP arrow must be at the table. Is the ball inflated properly? An overinflated ball gives an advantage to a shorter team. An underinflated ball will favor a team with height. And make sure that it's a women's ball, 28.5 inches. Games have started with a men's ball, which is 1 inch in diameter larger. And finally, has the referee given the instructions to the timers and scorers? Check the shot clock horn and check the book and count all the players to ensure that all the players that are on the court are in the book and the designated starters are listed at least 10 minutes before game time. Now, if you are the official that will be making the toss, here are some good habits for you. Make sure, are there 5 players from each team on the court? Games have started with 6 from one team, or worse, 4, and the 5th player runs onto the court during the toss. What do you do if that happens? You could put that in the chat. Ask our interpreter. Ask Sherry, what would you do? Is there time on the clock? Games have started with no time on the clock. Are the jumpers facing the correct way? Games have started with players facing their baskets. Are the players on the circle lined up correctly? Games have started with violations not called, and we'll go over those rules in just a moment. Is the table and my partners ready? And this is probably the most important thing the referee will do before entering the circle to make the toss, because games have started without that good eye contact and the umpires are not ready. Maybe there's a water spill by the benches, tying a shoelace or something. It just doesn't look good if you haven't gone through these good habits to ensure that all of these questions have been answered and you're good to go. All right, let's get right into it. I absolutely love these slides because I really think that a lot of us are visual learners, and when you see it, it really helps. And this is just the definition. To start the game and each overtime, the ball must be put in play in the center restraining circle as a jump ball between any two opponents. A method of putting the ball in play to start the game. And each overtime, it's tossing it up between the two opponents in the center circle. It's just basically the definition of the jump ball. The jump begins when the ball leaves the official's hand. Each jumper must have both feet within the half center circle that is furthest from their basket, opposite their bench. When the official is ready, and until the ball is tossed, non-jumpers must not change positions around the center circle. And non-jumpers must not move onto the center circle. So in this example here, 21 in red is moving laterally. And here, this player in red in the bottom of the screen is moving forward. They are not allowed to do that. What is the penalty? Ask Sherry. Put it in the chat. Jump ball. The referee, or whoever the referee designates, shall toss the ball upward between the jumpers in a plane at right angles to the sidelines to a height greater than either of the jumpers can jump, so that the ball will drop between them. The jump ball may be repeated when these provisions are not met. Until the toss ball is touched by one or both, non-jumpers must not have either foot break the plane of the center restraining circle. And the next slide is a great visual showing this. So in this example, if 21 in red broke the plane and stepped in, what would the penalty be? If you don't know, ask Sherry. Until the toss ball is touched by one or both jumpers, non-jumpers cannot take a position in any occupied space. So in this example here, 21 in red, the player is immediately behind her. That is not legal. She is taking 21's spot. Neither jumper must touch the toss ball before it reaches its highest point. This is what we know as stealing the tap. One good thing you can do if you are not comfortable with making the jump ball is just stand underneath the basket and throw the ball up. Get it through the basket, have it come down through the net. Keep practicing that, and you'll be able to make a nice, high, straight toss. Okay, neither jumper can leave that restraining circle until the ball is tapped. Neither jumper may catch the jump ball. So in this example, if 23 red caught the ball, it would be a violation. The opponent would get the ball out of bounds at the division line, and the arrow would be set toward the offender's basket. Neither jumper may touch the ball more than twice. So players can tap it once, they can tap it twice, but 3 times is not the charm. They also are not allowed to punch the ball. So if they punch the ball, that's also a violation. The jump ball and all restrictions end when the ball is touched and all restrictions end when the ball touches one of the 8 non-jumpers, the floor, the official, or the basket and the backboard. And just remember, the official is part of the floor. A jumper does not have to face their own basket, provided they're in their proper half of the circle. A jumper is not required to jump or attempt to touch the ball. When the ball touches the playing court without being touched by at least one of the jumpers, the officials shall toss the ball again. So that would be a case of a bad toss. If play is started or resumed by a jump, the clock must be started when the tossed ball is legally touched. So in this case, the official that's table side will chop the clock in as soon as the ball is tapped. A player must not violate any provision of the jump ball. The toss must be repeated if both teams simultaneously commit violations during the jump ball, or if the official makes a bad toss. So for example, if 31 white would steal the tap and one of the non-jumpers breaks the plane before it's touched, that would be the double violation. Throw-ins. And this is just the definition. A thrower in is a player who attempts to make the throw in. A throw in is the method of putting that ball in play from out of bounds. Disposal of the ball. These are great slides. On the left, the ball is in the official's hand. It is not at the disposal of the player. On the right, once the player has the ball, it's now at the disposal. Why is this important? If there is a foul, the adjudication is different when it's in the official's hands and when it's not. And if you're not sure how to adjudicate the play, if there is a foul called, ask Sherry. She'll be happy to answer. Disposal of the ball. A ball is at a player's disposal when it is caught by a thrower in. I can't read that. Or after it is bounced to them. So in this case, on the left, it's in the official's hand. It's not at the disposal. It's being bounced. It's still not at the disposal. Still a dead ball. Once it's in the official's, the player's hand, the thrower-in's hand, now the ball is live. And again, any foul activity, it has to be adjudicated differently, depending upon whether it's at the disposal of or not at the disposal of the player. A ball is at a player's disposal when it's placed on the floor at the throw-in spot. This is usually after a timeout. Players aren't coming out on the floor. It's the resumption of play procedure. A ball is at a player's disposal when it is available to a player after the official begins the throw-in count. So here, this is usually what you see. Ball's gone in the basket. Thrower in, steps out of bounds to inbound the ball. In this other slide, if the ball is gone through the basket and the players are kind of lollygagging and they're not making any effort to retrieve the ball and step out of bounds, the official may start the 5-second count. The throw-in ends when the pass ball touches or is legally touched by a player in bounds. the pass ball touches or is touched by another player out of bounds, except after a goal or an awarded goal. The throw-in team commits a throw-in violation. If the administering official awards the ball to the wrong team, the mistake must be recognized and rectified before the throw-in ends. So in the first slide here, the ball is in flight on the way to the teammate. The mistake can be corrected. In the second slide, once the player has received the basketball, it can no longer be corrected. So one of the things you want to do, can we just back up on that slide for 1 second? Here's a good habit. If you are the administering official and it's a sideline, tuck the ball in the direction that the team is going, that the play is going. So in this situation, if they're going to the left, the official should have the ball tucked in the left, and that would be a good reminder. If the players are on the end line, the referee should hold the ball in front if we're staying in the front court, or have the ball behind the back. I'm sorry, it's the reverse. Place the ball in the front if we're going long, and if we're staying in the front court, tuck the ball behind your back. So those are just some good habits that you can do so that you don't mess this up, because you don't want this to happen. And the other thing is make good eye contact with your partners, because maybe if they see it, they can blow the whistle and get it corrected. Throw-in requirements. The throw-in count begins when the ball is at the disposal of the player. The throw-in count ends when the ball is released by the thrower in. The thrower in must not leave the designated throw-in spot until releasing the ball, and that ball crosses the plane of the boundary. So if the thrower in does move off the designated spot, just remember that the signal is not traveling. It's point your finger down, swipe the area where they moved from the spot. That's the proper signal. The ball must be passed directly onto the court so that after it crosses the boundary line, it touches an inbounds player or is touched by a player who is on the playing court and causes the ball to be out of bounds. The throw-in cannot be touched by a teammate outside the boundary line, except in 7-4-6B. So basically in this slide, if 30 in white throws the ball to 23 and it bounces off her knee, okay, she's caused the ball to go out of bounds. The other team will get the ball at the spot of the violation. The thrower in cannot consume 5 seconds from the time the throw-in starts. The thrower in must not carry the ball onto the court. That is a violation. The thrown ball must not touch the thrower in on the court. So if there's no defensive player, this player in red cannot just roll the ball onto the court and be the first one to pick it up. That is a throw-in violation. Okay, should the ball go in the basket from a throw-in, this is a violation. Cancel the goal and award the ball to the other team at the spot of the violation, which in this case would be the end line. The thrown ball must not become lodged between the ring and the backboard, or come to rest on the flange. This is a throw-in violation. Don't get confused by free throw. Remember, on a free throw, if this happens, it's a held ball. But when it's a throw-in, it is actually a throw-in violation, and the other team will get the ball where the spot of the violation, which in this case will be the end line. The thrower in must not be replaced by a teammate after the ball is at the thrower's disposal, except after the goal. No teammate of the thrower in may be out of bounds after a designated spot throw-in begins. So in this example, 14 blue, designated spot, has the ball. One of her teammates cannot step out of bounds. One of her teammates cannot step out of bounds and take the ball from her. That would be a violation. Ball becomes dead when the violation occurs. Ball is awarded to the opponent at the spot of the violation. Throw-in requirements. The opponents of the thrower in must not have any part of their person through the inbound side of the throw-in boundary line plane until the ball has been released on a throw-in pass. So this player in white, if she reaches over the plane, blow your whistle, it's a delay of game warning. And the second time it happens, it will be a technical foul.
No, shoot. That's not working. What's right? Oh, I have a glitch. Hold on.
Yep.
God. It's working. I don't know why it's not working. I have just locked up.
Okay, well, in
Mhm.
this scenario here, reaching over the plane, delay a game warning. Reaches over the plane and hits the ball.
Okay, here we go.
foul.
Here we go.
Okay. So the first violation, team warning for delay a game. Second time, it's a technical foul. If the opponent reaches through the plane, touches the basketball, technical foul.
Player substitute.
And a delay a game is also issued. So second time, if someone reaches through the plane, that would be an automatic technical foul. If the opponent contacts the thrower in, that's an intentional foul. And also a delay a game warning is also assessed. So remember, you need to do both. Throw-in requirements. Teammates shall not line up next to each other within a 6 feet boundary line, parallel to it when an opponent desires the spot. So this stack parallel to the end line, not good if the defense wants in. What you usually see, a legal stack is the next slide, perpendicular to the line, to the end line. This is legal. The thrower in may penetrate the boundary line of the plane provided they do not touch the inbounds area or a player inbound before the ball is released on a throw-in pass. Now, the other slides we were talking about when the player's on the court reaches over the plane. Now we're talking about what happens if the thrower in reaches over the plane. Okay? The thrower in may present the ball onto the court over the plane. That's legal. What's not legal is for the player to step onto the court with their feet. So you need to know that distinction.
Free throws.
Okay, moving on to free throws. This is just basics. The lane is 12 feet wide and 15 feet from the face of the backboard to the furthest edge of the free throw line. We know the height of the basket is 10 feet. There are 3 marked lane spaces designated here, 1, 2, 3. And each of these lane spaces are 36 inches wide, 36 inches deep, a 3-foot square. This is just a definition of a bonus free throw. It's 2 free throws that are awarded for each personal foul, except offensive fouls, which we know we never shoot, committed by a player of a team, beginning with the 5th team foul in each of the quarters. The free throw starts when the ball is placed at the disposal of the free thrower. And this is important because if the ball is being bounced to the free throw shooter, who can call a timeout? Can either team call a timeout? If you're not sure, ask Sherry. Okay, the free throw ends when?
Try is successful.
Okay, the free throw is successful, not successful. It ends when it's touched by a player, clearly,
Or the floor.
on the court. Free throw ends when?
The ball becomes dead. You can't see it on the bottom.
No, I can't see it on the bottom.
Okay, when it becomes dead, it's like when you blow your whistle.
Okay. Free throw positions during the attempt. When a free throw is awarded, an official shall take the ball to the free throw line of the offended team. After allowing reasonable time for the players to take their positions, officials shall put the ball in play by placing it at the disposal of the free throw. Now, one thing that's important here, and we're going to see it later on, is if you are the non-calling official on the foul, make sure you make eye contact with your partners to know if it's 1 shot or 2 shots. And this is important because in later slides, you're going to see why. Okay. Lane spaces may be occupied by no more than 4 defensive and 2 offensive players. So here we have the 4 defensive players in the first lane space and the third lane space, and we have the 2 offensive players in marked lane space number 2. The 2 lane spaces closest to the end line shall remain open. So this neutral area below the box is never occupied by players. The first marked lane space on either side of the lane must be by the opponents of the free throw shooter. So the first lane space must be the defense. Must. That's a requirement of the free throw. The second marked lane space may be occupied by teammates of the free thrower. So in this example, they have taken their position in the second lane space. And the third marked lane space may be occupied by opponents of the free thrower. The operative word here is may. Players may move along or across the lane to occupy any vacant spots. Any player other than the free thrower who is not in the marked lane spaces must be outside the 3-point line and above the free throw line extended. And I just love this graphic because it's just imprinted on the brain that if you're not in the marked lane space, you have to be behind this red line. Okay, let's go over a couple of scenarios. Is this alignment legal? Okay, we know that first lane space must be the defense. Check. Second lane space may be the offense. Check. No more than 4 defensive and the 2 offensive players. Check. And are the players outside the 3-point arc and the free throw line extended? Check. This alignment is legal. Is this alignment legal? For defense, offense may or may not occupy the second lane space. Everyone else is behind the arc, looking good. This alignment is legal. Here, for defense, no offense. Everybody else is behind the 3-point arc and the free throw line extended, legal. The only main requirement, must 2 defensive players in the first mark lane space, everyone else behind the arc and the free throw line extended, legal. Okay. Defense in the first mark lane spaces, check. 2 offensive players, check. Everybody else behind the line, legal. Okay. Defense in the first mark lane space, check. 4 defense, 2 offense, check. Everybody else behind the arc and the free throw line extended, check, legal. Is this alignment legal? Okay, we've got the defense in the first mark lane space, check. Oh, wait a minute. We have got 3 offensive players. This is not legal. What will the penalty be? If offense violates, blow your whistle immediately. If it's the first of 2, they will get the second shot. If not, go to the AP arrow.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The defensive team, yellow, will get the ball on the end line,
Oh, I'm sorry.
a
Thank you,
designated
Jerry.
spot. You're welcome. That's why I'm here.
That's why you're here. That's why she is our interpreter. Is this alignment legal? Okay. Oh, we have an offensive player in the defensive spot. What is the penalty? I'm just going to say, if you don't know, ask Sherry.
That's easy.
Okay, here we have 2 defensive players, but look where they're located. They're in that neutral zone below the box. This is not legal. When the defense creates a violation, we know that it's a delayed whistle. If the ball goes in the basket, we just ignore the violation. If it doesn't go in the basket, we award the substitute free throw. Is this alignment legal? Okay, the players in the mark lane spaces are all good. The players outside the 3-point arc, oh, wait a minute. We have somebody over here below the free throw line extended. This, a good habit, when teams are huddling free throws, a good habit is to make sure that you move those players up above the free throw line extended, so that you don't have to call this violation. In this case, since it is the defense, it's a delayed whistle anyway. If the ball goes in, we will ignore the violation. If not, we will award the substitute free throw. When the ball is to become dead, regardless of whether the last free throw for a specific penalty is successful, players shall not take positions along the free throw lane. Note, while players may not be in the lane area, can't read what it says, but basically, usually on a technical foul, everybody stays behind the division line. That is not a requirement. They can be in the front court as long as they're behind the 3-point arc and the free throw line extended.
Yep.
Above it.
Yes.
Okay, remember when I said, if you are not the calling official, be certain that you make eye contact with your partner and you know whether it is 1 shot or 2 shots. So here's the example. A1 is to attempt 1 free throw following a successful goal. The administering official steps in and erroneously points with 2 fingers, verbalizes it's 2 shots, and A1's first free throw is not successful. Here are the scenarios. Situation 1, B1 rebounds the ball. Most players remain motionless in anticipation of the second free throw. The official's error clearly has put one team at a disadvantage. Whistle the play dead immediately. Inform the coaches of the mistake. If any time has come off the clock and you have definite knowledge, you may put the time back on the clock. And you resume play using the AP arrow. Okay, let's go to scenario 2. While all the players remained inactive, A2 rebounds the ball and scores. The official discovered that they misinformed the player. It was only one shot, not 2 shots. What happens? This is the nightmare scenario.
Oh my gosh.
Frozen
Hold on.
again.
Yeah, it froze a little bit. It's working. No, why it's not working. Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, here we go. Go ahead.
The official's error has clearly put one team at a disadvantage. You whistle the play dead immediately. Inform the coaches of the mistake. Number 3 is the killer. Explain that to the coach. Cancel the goal. And if you have definite knowledge that time's come off the clock, you may put it back on. And resume play using the alternating possession arrow. Third scenario. B2 rebounds the ball, passes it to the officials who's positioned out of bounds. Officials' error clearly put one team at a disadvantage. Whistle the play dead immediately. Inform the coaches of the mistake. Any time that's come off the clock, if you have definite knowledge, you can put it back on. And resume play using the AP arrow. And finally, the last scenario, which you pray happens, several players from both teams attempt to secure the rebound. Since both teams have attempted to rebound despite the official's error, and they both had an equal opportunity to gain possession of that rebound, play on. The moral of the story, it's better to be good than to be lucky. After the ball has been placed at the disposal of the free thrower, the free thrower has 10 seconds to release that ball and have it enter the basket, touch the ring or the flange before the free throw ends. Player may not purposely fake a try. So in this example, if 13 fakes the try, blow the whistle. She loses. If it's the first of 2, she'll lose that first shot and she'll get her second shot. If it is just the one shot, blow the whistle and it's a violation on the offense. The ball will go out of bounds on the end line to the opponents at the designated spot of the foul, of the violation.
Mm-hmm.
After the ball has been placed at the disposal of the free thrower, a player in the, I can't read it. It's
Player in the marked lane space must not fake to cause an opponent to enter the lane.
okay.
If a fake causes the free thrower or a teammate to violate, only the fake is penalized.
Okay, so if the defense fakes and it draws the offense in, we're only going to penalize the defense. Of course, if the shot goes in, it's a delayed whistle, we'll ignore the violation. But if the shot doesn't go in, I mean, if the shot
Right.
yeah,
If the shot is missed, she'll get a second free throw.
right,
She'll
because
get a
not
replacement
gonna-
free throw.
right,
Right,
because we're not going to penalize the offensive player that was drawn in by
correct,
the defense.
correct.
No opponent, player or bench personnel shall disconcert the free throw shooter. And this really is a matter of judgment. So if in the judgment of the official, the clapping or the shouting air ball, just as the girl is releasing the ball and she does shoot an air ball, it's really at the discretion of the official, the judgment of the official. If they felt it was disconcerting, she would be awarded a substitute free throw. No player may enter or leave a marked lane space by contacting, I can't read it, outside the space until the ball is released. So in this example here, 14 in white, if she breaks the plane and enters the lane, it's an automatic whistle because it's a violation on the offense. Your offense, you whistle it immediately.
Mhm.
The free thrower must not have either foot beyond the vertical. I can't read it because
Plane of the edge free throw line.
semicircle until the ball touches the, I guess, the ring.
The ring, the backboard, or until the free throw ends. Yeah. So basically what it's saying is that the free thrower can't go over that free throw line until the ball hits the rim. The ring, the backboard. There you go. Can you see that?
Yeah, so this is, I love this graphic. It's like a great visual. Free thrower cannot break that plane until it hits. And it's the same requirement. Any of the players that are not in the marked lane spaces, they also have restrictions against them. They can't enter the 3-point plane. They can't break that plane until it hits as well. They both have the same kind of restriction. They must hold their spots until it hits the ring, the flange, backboard, or until that free throw ends. And that's exactly what you see here in this slide. Any player other than the free thrower who does not occupy must not have either foot break that plane until it does hit the ring, the backboard, or until that free throw ends. A player in a marked lane space may not have either foot beyond the vertical plane of the outside edge of the lane boundary until the ball is released by the free thrower. Basically, number 3 is in our 3-foot square box here. This is legal. You don't have to have toe-to-toe at the line like this player has right here.
Whoops, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right here. Or right here.
Okay,
They're all good.
they're all good.
Yep.
I can't read that. That's
It's just saying they must be in the 36-inch designated lane space. That they can't, go over those lines until the ball is released.
yeah, this is legal. What would not be legal is if this player crossed into the space of the offensive player.
Right.
It's adjacent to her. That would not be legal.
Right.
She has to stay within her little 3-foot box. Players occupying a marked lane space may not enter the free throw. I can't read it until the ball touches the ring or until the free throw ends.
So the same with the players outside the free throw line and behind the arc. The the players on the marked lane spaces are not allowed to cross the free throw line and make contact with the free thrower. That's basically what this slide is saying. And this is a great graphic right here that not many people call, not many officials will call this, but when there's contact, that's a foul. So this is a great picture of this actually. So they cannot cross the free throw line. They can go in the lane area to rebound the ball.
When the first or only violation is by the thrower or teammate, I can't, there's pictures all on the side here that cuts off the graphics.
Oh, okay, okay. The ball is dead immediately and no points can be scored. So this is saying if a free thrower's teammate violates, the ball becomes, you blow your whistle and the ball becomes dead immediately.
If no further free throws are permitted and the violations occur during the free throw for a personal foul other than intentional, the ball is awarded to the opponent out of bounds nearest the spot of the violation. And again, this is a great graphic showing sideline throw-ins versus everything in the light gray area goes to the end line at the spot nearest the violation.
Mm-hmm.
When the first or only violation is by the thrower's opponent, if the try is successful, the goal counts and the violation is disregarded. So in this case, if the defense steps in, it's a delayed whistle. If the ball goes in, we just ignore the violation.
Mm-hmm.
If the try is not successful, the ball becomes dead. When the free throw, can't read it.
Free throw ends, and a substitute free throw will be awarded.
Right.
Right.
If there are simultaneous violations by each team, the ball will become dead and no points can be scored. Any remaining free throws will be administered or play will be resumed.
By an APR or throw-in nearest the spot of the violation. So
Right.
if there's a double violation on the second free throw, then you go to the AP arrow to put the ball in play. Good?
Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah.
There is a violation first by the opponent and then by a teammate of the free thrower. If both offenders are in the marked lane space, the second violation is ignored. This is a nice distinction. So again, if the defense faked and the offense went in, we're only going to penalize the defense. Of course, if the shot goes in, we just ignore the violation. This is different than if it's a violation when it's one on the marked lane space and one outside the arc, which I believe is the next slide. So if there is a violation first by the opponent and then by a teammate of the free thrower, if the second violation is by the free thrower or the teammate behind the arc, it is a double violation. So, yeah. For example, if the defense steps in and this player outside the three-point arc breaks the plane before it hits the ring, we have a double violation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Free throws are awarded for a personal foul, shall be attempted by the offended player. That's just the definition. Who attempts? If a player is withdrawn from the game because of an injury or disqualification, the substitute shall attempt the free throws. And just remember that that substitute must take all the shots. So if it's 2 or 3 shots, you can't be replacing the substitute. Any player or eligible team member on the offended team designated by the head coach or the captain of the offended team may attempt the free throws for technicals, intentionals, or disqualifying fouls.
Same player must attempt both free throws.
And the
all
same
free.
player, right, must attempt both.
Okay.
After the penalty for a technical foul, an intentional foul, or disqualifying foul, if it's assessed before the start of the game, play will resume with the jump ball.
Yep.
When a player substitute or bench technical foul, an intentional foul, a disqualifying foul is assessed during the intermission following the first, second, or third quarter, play shall be resumed with a throw-in to the offended team at a designated spot at the division line opposite the scorer's table.
So here that you're not going to use the AP arrow, okay, for the throw in on the third quarter. This is the throw in from the intentional disqualifying foul. Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you so much for your attention, and I hope it's been helpful.
Okay. All right. Carrie, do we have any questions from the panel? I mean, from everybody? Anybody?
One question I
Hello?
got, Sherry, was involving that, the throw-in that I sent you. Could you just clarify that?
So if an official makes a mistake, okay, they can only rectify. If you can ask Malcolm to
Yeah. Hello? Oh, you talking? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Malcolm. Yes, thank you, Malcolm. So
It's Malcolm's
if
question.
oh, it is okay, great. If a referee or an official makes a mistake, it can only be adjudicated until up until the free throw end or the throw-in ends. So once the throw-in ends, you cannot rectify that mistake. In high school, they changed that rule this year. You can change in high school, you can change that mistake until the first dead ball, or if there's been a change in possession. So I'm not sure if Malcolm is a high school official or not, but that's may be where he got that from.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Sherry. I am a high school official for Catholic and private school. But also, other than that, when the defensive player make contact with the free thrower, that's not a common foul. That's an intentional or possibly it could be a flagrant or whatever, right? Because the ball is dead.
No, the
When-
ball is not dead. If it's a free throw, then the ball is live.
No, I'm
It's
talking
not.
about after it looked like the free throw is going to be unsuccessful or successful. So the free throw one is successful, and the free throw the second is unsuccessful.
Okay, so if it's successful,
Mm-hmm.
the contact would have occurred while the ball was live, because that player in the mark lane space is moving once that the free thrower has released the ball. So
Okay.
they moved into that free thrower when the ball was live. So it can be a common foul unless you deem it something other than that. But in that case there, it looked like it would have just been a common foul.
Hey, Sherry, can I chime in real quick?
Absolutely, Rich.
Malcolm
Go
may be confusing on a throw-in. If you
Yeah.
contact the thrower in,
Yes,
that's an intentional. In women's college, that is an intentional foul. If you
Correct.
contact the player, the thrower in.
the thrower in. Yeah,
Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
you bet. Anyone else? No more
I'm glad we were
questions?
able to get some clarification on that.
Yeah. So I guess everybody knows their rules. They're
Well,
free throw rules.
Fran gave a great presentation, and it was a lot of really small and technical parts of the rules that maybe when you're reading through the rule book, you're just kind of glossing over reading them. And so, we're hoping that this was helpful, that you're not going to have all these free throw violations and things that can just happen in games. We all work different levels of basketball, and just keep bringing up these rules. I know there's a lot of talk in your pre-games about the new rules, but it doesn't hurt to throw a question out there in your pre-game conference, and hey, I saw this play. I had this free throw violation, or like Fran mentioned, we do have the Ask the Interpreter link, so don't be afraid to send us a play. We don't broadcast who sent us the play, but we do send out the rulings.
Yeah. Yeah, and there were some really great graphics in there tonight. Again, it's back to basics, and it's always good to refresh, especially at the beginning of the season, when you've been off for the summer or whatever, and it's great for basic stuff. And those graphics were actually really, really great, and those scenarios were really good. So I hope that was really helpful for everyone, and someone took something away from the presentation tonight. So
Believe me, Sherry, when it comes up in their game, they'll be thinking, "Oh, I saw this last Sunday."
yeah.
So, in the essence of time, we like to stay on time. I'd like to wrap it up and just remind everybody that our next call in season series is December 10th, believe it or not. So we're going to have Austin from Run and Ref. Run and Ref is a referee fitness app, so we're going to be doing something a little bit different in December, and we hope you can make it. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving coming up, and Fran, round of applause for you. Thank you so much for what you've done tonight, and we look forward to seeing you all in December. I can't believe I'm saying that. The season's going to get started for most of you really, really, really soon. So, do your best out there and keep reading the rules. Have a great